To our other big story, this has got a lot of people talking around the community.
Oh, yeah.
Lee County School District making history last night. The school board becoming the first school district in the state now to opt out of that controversial Common Core testing.
So what is Common Core? Well, the test is a federal assessment for all students nationally, which measures students' readiness to move on to the next grade level. Supporters say it gives all kids a chance to be on the same educational level. But opponents say the testing is an overreach by the feds and that education should stay on a state level. Now, we are getting answers from people there at the school board, talking to Dr. Nancy Graham. She called the board's decision to opt out of standardized testing challenging and complicated. She had few answers to what this means and how exactly this was going to unfold, but she did emphasize that until she and board members agree on what's next, it's business as usual in the classroom. Teachers are to continue preparing kids to meet state learning requirements.
Now you can see in this video, Dr. Graham addressed the cameras and took questions for about 40 minutes. She stressed that last night's historic vote by the school board to opt out of the testing has serious ramifications that she says could hurt students. These include how the district's 2,000 seniors are going to meet their graduation requirements and how to gauge whether students should advance to the next grade level. But she stressed that she and the principals are working this out. They're hoping to have some sort of plan in place by next week. That'd be really quick because there's a lot to do here. In the meantime, students and teachers should continue their regular duties as they normally would.
That I want to tell teachers and principals, nothing has changed at the schoolhouse. You continue to teach to those standards. Okay, but I do think there's a group out there that thinks we have opted out of the standards that exist in Florida, and we have not.
Just to make it clear, she's saying that last night's vote did opt out of this standardized testing, not prepping students to pass them. So they're still going to get your kids ready no matter what happens here. Dr. Graham made it clear the school board can reverse its decision to opt out of these tests. So there's a lot still to be answered here. Meanwhile, one thing Dr. Graham did address is how this decision will directly affect Lee County schools. For one, if elementary schools don't take the state's reading assessment, they'll be likely placed in the 300 lowest performing schools in the state. That'll require an additional hour of instruction per day. Also, the district won't be able to begin the school year any earlier. A-rated districts can start the school year earlier than 2 weeks before Labor Day. And the county's collective bargaining agreement will have to be renegotiated because instructor pay is linked to performance on testing.
School district employees will be affected as well, especially when it comes to compensation, which is based on assessment scores. At least 50% of teacher evaluations and 40% of administrator evaluations are based on student learning growth. Meanwhile, Lee County schools that receive an A grade now will be ineligible for school recognition dollars in the future. All schools will now receive an incomplete, and it's unclear how the state will view that score. Principals will also be ineligible for performance pay.
Opting out of Common